Carlos Ramirez, owner of NVS Audio in Roselle, New Jersey. So this video has been delayed a really long time because we've been extremely busy, and then it was way more complex than I thought to get this install put together. So I got the Harley Davidson Audio powered by Rockford kit. It's actually the same exact kit that comes on the new CVOs and some of the Ultras. It's the Harley top of the line audio kit. So this kit included fairing speakers, lid speakers, tour pack speakers, and even included the 10-inch subwoofers that go in the saddlebags. It's a full plug and play system from Harley. There's a whole ton of advancements. It's completely different than the boom audio setup that came in the older bikes, 14 through 20, 14 through 19. So what they did was they added a Bluetooth dongle. The unit actually flashes the radio when you install it automatically, so there is no need to go to the dealer. The EQ is completely customizable through an app. There's a Bluetooth dongle, optional Bluetooth dongle that you could buy. If your amplifiers are updated when you buy the system, there is no need to go to the dealer. If your amplifier is not updated, for example, there's a firmware update. So if you bought an older amplifier that was sitting on the shelf for the dealership for a couple of years, then you will need to go back to the dealer to get the firmware updated so you can install the new subwoofers. The subwoofers only work on the later updates because obviously the subwoofers weren't out when this kit became available. The fit and finish of this kit is awesome. There's a lot of people that talk crap about the Harley Davidson audio. What people don't realize is you can live in parts of the country where you don't have access to a good aftermarket motorcycle audio guy. So if you want factory fit and finish, if your bike came with the basic 2-speaker audio with no amplifier, and you just want to be able to listen to something and know it's going to work and know it's going to sound decent, know it's going to sound good, it's not going to be super loud, but it's going to be loud enough for you to hear, then there's nothing wrong with going with this setup. What people don't realize is going with aftermarket setups like the Rockford or the Arc Audio or the Sounds, it's not plug and play, and it cannot be serviced by your factory dealership. So for people that want the peace of mind, and we see it all the time with clients that get remote starts done on their cars at the dealer and they have their accessories installed at the dealer, because if you get work done at the dealer, then it's covered under the factory warranty, and the factory technicians most of the time know how to work on the factory stuff. So for a lot of you custom guys, this is definitely not an option for you guys because it's not what you guys want. You guys are willing to cut up the bike and go with the biggest and go with the loudest. But for the factory fit, do-it-yourself guys that want to retain all the factory functionality and want to know that the dealers can be able to work on it, and these are the guys that if they strip a screw, they go to the dealer to buy the screw. They don't put an aftermarket screw in it. These are the guys that buy the highest trim levels. These are the guys that I have customers with boom audio systems and blown speakers that are on their 5th set of replacement speakers and will not go away from boom audio. Like, factory is the way for them, and you can't talk them out of it. So whether this is what you agree with or not, understand that there's a fit for everybody in the market, and this works for some people. We've had customers come in with the full Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford and had us install it, and they love the way it sounds. Now, it gets a little confusing because everybody's used to it being called boom audio. Boom audio came from 2014 to 2019. The new Harley Davidson audio is Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford. This is the official name. It gets confusing, and when people call and say they have the Rockford kit, it's hard to tell over the phone if they have the app, because Rockford still makes the aftermarket. So if you didn't get it from factory and you want to retrofit it, you can go with the Rockford Fosgate kit. So a lot of clients don't know the difference, so they'll have the factory audio that came on their bike, or they'll have the factory audio installed at the dealer, or they'll have the aftermarket audio also done by Rockford. So it's Rockford Fosgate or Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford. Two completely different systems. So the factory audio system, Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford, is 5x7 lids. That's the easiest way to determine. if the customer has the factory or the aftermarket. The Rockford kit sits on top of the cutout kit, and it's got like an 1/8 inch bump out. It's really hard to explain to clients what to look for. So what I do is I ask them to open the inside of the saddlebag and let me know if the back of the magnet has an aluminum heat sink on it. If it does, then that's the 5x7 factory setup. That's the Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford. If they have the Rockford setup, it's a 6x9 instead of a 5x7, and it won't have the aluminum heat sink on the back. So if it's a 6x9, you have the aftermarket Rockford. If it's a 5x7, the other way to tell is if you look at the speaker, the factory audio will have the woofer, a small tweeter, and a large tweeter. So the rear is actually a three-way, and the front is actually a three-way. So if you look through the grill and you see two tweeters, you have the Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford, and if you have a newer 19 up setup. And if you look in the front fairing and you see two tweeters, Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford. If you have the amp in the saddlebag, it's going to be the Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford, unless you have the subwoofer kit, because when you do the Rockford aftermarket kit, the amp goes in the fairing. With the factory Harley Davidson audio, the amps are a lot larger than they used to be, so none of the bikes 19 through 22, 23 have an amplifier in the fairing. It's either going to be one saddlebag or one in each saddlebag. So that's how you can determine what setup is on the bike. So the things that I like about it, it's plug and play. The fit and finish is perfect. There's no cutting, there's no splicing. The way the system works is it communicates with the CAN bus of the bike. So you run, and there's 3 different harnesses, so you have to make sure you order the right kit. This gave us a hard time because we ordered the kit for a 2019, and then it ended up, the install we actually did ended up being a 2016, which used a different harness. So there's 3 different harnesses. There's basically 14, 15, I think 15, 16, 17, and 18, and then 19 through 23. So the main differences in the harness is where it picks up the CAN bus communications. The older bikes get the CAN bus in the fairing. The newer bikes get it under the side cover. So the only difference between the install is exactly the same on all the years. The only difference is the harness that gets the CAN bus signal from the factory is in a different location on all 3 generations. I'm not going to say the install was simple. You need a hole saw to, so I'd say on a skill level of 1 to 5, you need a 3 or 4 to be able to install this. You have to drill holes in the bags with a hole saw. You have to make sure you're pretty precise or the connectors will not line up. The cable routing is very perplexing sometimes, but the instructions are pretty clear. So if you read the instructions, take your time with it, you will be able to get through it. The setup sounded good, but the setup does something that I do not like. I understand why they do it, to keep you from blowing speakers. It will actually throttle back the gain of the amplifier as you increase the volume. So you can literally take the volume all the way up and not blow speakers on this new setup, because the setup monitors the output voltage and distortion. And then on the older units, you used to be able to trick it. So you set the volume all the way up, and then you adjust the gain and allow the radio to actually overdrive the input of the amplifier and gain a little bit more output. It's physically impossible with this setup. We tried tricking it and flashing it for a different setup. Whenever we cycled the ignition, the amplifier would flash the radio back. So the radio always knows what amplifier it's connected to, and it sets its gains accordingly. So the good part is you should never ever blow a speaker. The bad part is when you're just trying to get more sound at low volumes, it's physically impossible. You can't. Sounded really good. I just wish it had 20% more output. But as far as sound quality, can't complain. The adjustable EQ, we were able to put this thing on an RTA and get the factory EQ dialed in. So we were able to make it sound nice, even, flat. We were able to get more bass and reduce the highs. So I was happy with the way it sounded. I just wish it was louder. But fit and finish was good. Sound quality was good. Install instructions were dead spot on. Tech support was excellent. The other issue is not a lot of dealers are going to be able to flash this. Well, not a lot that I've dealt with. I deal with Liberty Harley and Hannum's Harley Davidson, so the technicians are top notch. As soon as I explained to them what I needed, they had me in and out in 15 minutes. So I deal with Anthony over there. Anthony always takes care of me. So my local Harley dealership does these, knows how to do them, knows how to update the firmware on the amplifiers, knows how to marry the entire system together. So on the first one we did, I had to take a trip to the dealer and update the firmware on the amp. On the second one that we did for Cycle Fanatics, everything was up to date. So it was plug and play, and I just did the adjustments through the Bluetooth dongle on my phone. No trip to the dealer on that one. Let me go ahead and show you the install. So it's a full replacement lid kit. The bike that we did it on was Vivid Black, so all the accessories I ordered in Vivid Black. There was no painting. There was no cutting of the lids because it was just regular drop-in factory replacement with drop-in speakers. We did have to cut the bags because the amplifiers obviously get installed in the bags, so we had to cut the holes for the quick disconnect plugs. Everything else was plug and play. Install takes about a full day. On your first one, if you're used to doing them, I guess you can bang them out in like 3 hours, 4 hours maybe. Let's jump into the install. So first thing I like about the kit is the grills. So if you order the stage 1, it's black grills, black emblems. If you order the stage 2, it's the polished stainless emblems. And you can mix and match. You can order the stage 2 kit, and if your bike is all black and it's murdered out, you can order the stage 1 grills. So it's a nice, classy look, high quality lid kit, and then you can customize it to match the look of your bike. So the grills are the first thing I loved about the kit. The speakers were upgraded, so the older Boom audio gave you 3-way 5x7s in the back, but only gave you 2 ways in the front, which I didn't understand. It's more important to have the sound in front of you. So they actually gave you 3-way speakers in the back behind you, and in the front only 2-way. But they took care of that in the new kit, where it's 3-way speakers in the front and 3-way speakers in the back. This is what the new amplifier looks like. It's a substantial amount larger than the Boom audio amp. This is the new Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford amplifier. So the kit comes 2 different ways, 1 amplifier in 1 saddlebag or 1 amplifier in each saddlebag. But this is what the amplifier looks like. And then it's got the cover panel goes into over it, and it screws into here. Okay, so the kit comes with a full replacement saddlebag lid. Obviously it's got the 5x7 cutout. Grill drops in, screws in from the bottom. Then it's going to come with 2 sets of speakers for the lowers. Then it's going to come with fairing speakers, grills, complete wiring harness, template to drill and cut out the holes in the saddlebags, amplifier mounting bracket, amplifier cover, all the harnesses that come with it, factory plug and play, factory fit. So here's the older CVO. You can see it's got the older 3-ways, but look at the shape of the grill. It's literally exactly the same. You can remove that one and replace it with that one. Now we have a newer CVO over here. And obviously it has this one. And there's the fronts. All factory equipment on the brand new CVOs. For a lot of people, this is great. If you got a base model Harley, it came with these cheap plastic grills, and you could just go to the dealer and pick up the new grills. They're an exact fit. So even if you're not upgrading the audio, you can upgrade to the look of the new ones. So if you have, let's say, an older CVO or a bike that came with the lids, these grills are an exact drop-in replacement. See that? Same exact mounting points. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take you in the back. We got a CVO that is factory. But look at the quality of the new three-way speakers. And look at that massive heat sink. What a great job they've done with this. Excellent fit and finish. Let me take you in the back and show the other CBO. Since John's bike was already a special, it came with the upgraded boom audio speakers, but those are two-way, these are three-way. So it's going to be a noticeable improvement in sound. These are the speakers that the base model bikes come with. It's not even a 6-inch speaker, it's a 6-inch flange with a 5-inch speaker. Then they upgrade you to that, and then they upgrade you to that. So this bike's a little bit different. This bike had the boom audio installed in it. We're gonna have to remove the boom audio harnesses and start fresh. So all these come out before we can start our install. There's the factory boom audio amplifier that we're removing, along with the boom audio 5x7. So this bike came equipped with the boom audio, and we had to remove the harnesses. So all the harnesses removed and we're starting fresh. This one had an amp in this side saddlebag. So these are the boom audio harnesses. You have to remember, boom audio is different than the new Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford. So there's the part that plugged into, this was a 2-amp setup. There's the plug that went into the fairing amplifier. There's the speaker pod wiring for the front. This is the part that went into the rear amplifier. And there's the backbone harness. So this was the 2-amplifier boom audio setup, and we're upgrading to the 2-amplifier Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford Fosgate. We've upgraded the battery to a Grille AGM. The newer amplifiers are bigger than the boom audio amplifier, so we can no longer fit them in the fairing. So where it used to be 1 amp in the fairing, 1 amp in the saddlebag, now it's gonna be 1 amp in each saddlebag. So it's pretty overwhelming when you get all the boxes, but the install is really not that bad. We're gonna walk you through it step by step. There's the 10-inch woofers, there's the 2 amplifiers, there's the cut template, there's the harnesses, there's the lids. When you're comparing the boom audio to the Harley Davidson audio powered by Rockford, one of the immediate most noticeable improvements is the much nicer grills. These are much nicer than the old style boom audio grills. And even nicer part is they retrofit. So the lid cutout is exactly the same. You can actually put these on 2014 through 2019, as well as 2020 and newer. So if you just want to order the grills and give your bike a nicer, newer look, you can. They pop right in. They fit over your, they fit right into your factory openings on your older bike. There's the older boom audio grill next to the new Harley grill. I like the fact that they move the badging to the front instead of the rear. But if you notice, the shape is exactly the same. And there's the old generic grill and the new, much nicer Harley Davidson audio grill. This is the assembly for the quick disconnects for the amplifier. This is the original boom audio hole. We're going to seal that off from the other side. Comes with a nice waterproof gasket and installs from the back. This is the hole saw we used. It's 2.5 inch. Here's the old boom audio amplifier removed from the saddlebag. Okay, so we have the brake side harness ran. You notice the wire ties are loose. That way we can adjust the length of the harness before we tie them down. So it comes around above the ABS pump, under, and across the top of the battery. There's the fuse, the ground, and that's for the saddlebag on the brake side, which is the right side of the bike. And now I'm going to come around and Chris is going to do the left side. So this is what the harness looks like on the clutch side. Remember to leave the wire tie loose until you have everything positioned perfectly. It's 2 screws to remove the factory fuse block. There's one here, and then you lean it down. Route the wires, make sure they're away from the drive belt. This one goes behind the battery and along to the opposite side. It feeds the speaker in the opposite side bag. Now we have both side harnesses up over the battery. We're pulling the harness tight to make sure it doesn't drag on the drive belt, and securing with another cable tie. This harness goes to the front. And here it is right here. That's for the left speaker. This is the one for the right speaker.
No, you're going to pass the accessory wire for turn off the...
So it gets signal from the factory radio through this plug, and then it re-amplifies the speaker. So signal comes in through this plug, then amplified signal comes out to this plug and plugs into the factory speaker pod wires. And the final wire that comes to the front is the accessory wire. This is how the amplifiers actually turn on. Same on every single Harley. Accessory plug goes there. Here's our factory radio harness. Here's our factory speaker pod harness. So, left-hand speaker harness. Gonna plug in here. Plug that in for me, Chris. Right side speaker harness is gonna plug in here. And now that leaves us one connector here to the pod, one connector here to the other pod. Accessories already hooked up. Now we just have to manage the cables properly and keep them out of the way. So this is the front harness, and now connects to the rear harness.
To the first sound. And
That goes to the first amplifier here. It's a very simple setup. The most complicated part of this entire install is cutting the bags. With the bike all apart, wiring the bike takes 10 minutes because all the harnesses are plug and play. So you have your two fuse lines, your grounds, and here's your sub harness for the other side bag. This is for the right side brake side bag. The amplifier on the clutch side, which is the left-hand side, is a primary amplifier. The CAN bus harnesses go to the primary amp side, and then they plug into the Bluetooth dongle, which allows you to program the amplifiers and set it up for the right configuration on the bike. So there's the programming button, and here is the Bluetooth programming module. Okay, we're on a different bike to show you the accessory plug. This bike is a 2020, so this is the accessory plug where this is a dummy connector. You're gonna slide that out, and then that's gonna plug into the Bluetooth dongle harness. It's gonna plug in right there. So that's on the newer bike. That one's connected. This bike is older, so the connector is a different color here. So where we would have our purple blue, we have an orange and a pink. So I think that's where it's supposed to be connected, but we're gonna measure and make a phone call to Harley to make sure we're plugging into the right spot. Make sure you order the proper harness because they are a little bit different. This harness is 2014 through 2016. So this is the layout. This is the harness 2017 and newer. And as you can see, there's more connectors. So make sure you get the correct harness for your year. The install is the same. This part's a little bit different. Okay, Chris is removing the factory speaker. And the new speakers have the same exact connector and the same exact plug orientation. Drops right back in, uses the factory screws.
It's the same.
So with Harley, it's the opposite of a car. The wider one is negative and the skinnier one is positive. In cars, it's actually the opposite. So you can't plug these in backwards because this is a wider spade, so it won't fit in. There's only one way you can do it. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a mistake I made on this install. So this is 18 through newer, so 18 through 22, 18 through 23. When you're doing the harness for the Bluetooth dongle, so there's the reset switch, there's the Bluetooth dongle. This is where you get accessory power and ground from. So that's pretty straightforward, you know, because the colors match up. And then this is the Bluetooth T harness. So this is the CAN bus T harness. So you have your CAN bus in and out signal. This is where the mistake is. And the manual's not clear on this. So there's a hidden connector in here, and then it's got a resistor built in into the end cap. So this is plugged incorrectly. So this is the data wires for the amplifiers. It actually needs the data wire from the bike plugged into one side, and then the terminated resistor on the other side. So what you're gonna do is make sure you have the T harness connected on one side. Then on the other side, you need to pull this out. It's under here, you pull it out. You'll know because the wires match up. We have a white black and a white red. So you wanna remove this. This is gonna plug in here. Then your cable that's left over is gonna plug in here. So now this completes the circle for the CAN bus connection. So you have CAN bus coming from the bike, feeding the T harness. That feeds CAN bus signal to that amplifier, then it comes back, feeds CAN bus signal to the dongle, and then you have your termination connector. So you do not plug these two harnesses together. It's harness to the bike in, CAN communication to that amp, back to this amplifier, back to the Bluetooth dongle, to the termination plug. This is the way it should look if you do it correctly. Plus, in the app, when you do it right, it's going to see both amplifiers. I'm going to give you a picture of both amplifiers, and it's going to give you the current temperature of both amplifiers in the bag. I'll take a screenshot now and show you what that looks like. But this is the way it is when it's done correctly, and this is on the newer 18 through 22 bikes. On that bike over there, the connector is actually going to be in the fairing. I'll show you that next. Okay, when you do it correctly, it's showing both amplifiers and the temperature of both amplifiers and what's currently connected. You can do a speaker test from here. That's how you know you did it right.
To a snooker hall, she'd probably clip me around the ears. Bad places, misspent youth, all those type of phrases. But the reality is, it's just ordinary blokes.
The boy is mine. The boy is mine. The boy is mine.